All right, let's dive in. AI, it's everywhere these days, right? But you know what? I'm really glad we're doing this deep dive because honestly, sometimes it feels like everyone's talking at me about AI, and I just want to get a handle on it, you know? Like,
Mhm.
what does it actually mean for me?
Absolutely. And you know what? It's funny because people throw around AI like it's this one big thing, but it's not really, is it? I mean, it's a whole bunch of different
You're
things.
telling me, I mean, I've got this article here, Getting Started with AI, plus all these notes I jotted down, and honestly, my head's spinning.
Well, let's untangle it together. We'll break it down step by step.
Okay, great. So maybe we should start with like what AI even is, because
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like people are talking about like super intelligent robots taking over the world or something.
Right, the Hollywood version.
Okay.
But that's not really where we're at right now.
Okay, good. Because I'm not ready for that.
No, I don't think anyone is. But really, when we talk about AI, we're talking about machines that can, in a way, think like humans. They can learn, they can solve problems, and they can even get creative sometimes.
So like when my phone recommends a movie I might like, that's AI.
Bingo. That's a great example of what we call narrow AI. It's designed to do one specific thing really well, and it's the kind of AI we're interacting with most right now.
Oh, interesting. So narrow AI. Okay, I'm writing that down. So what other kinds of AI are there?
Well, there's this idea of general AI, which is more theoretical at this point, is AI that could potentially do any intellectual task a human can.
Oh, wow. Like write a novel?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Compose music, design a building, you name it. And then there's super AI, which is, well, even more out there. It's the kind of AI that surpasses human intelligence in every way.
Oh, okay. That's where we get into like sci-fi territory. But for now, let's stick with what's real. This narrow AI, I'm seeing it everywhere. I mean, this article mentions AI diagnosing diseases.
That's right. AI can analyze medical images and spot things that even trained doctors might miss.
So it's like giving doctors a superpower.
You could say that. And it's not just healthcare. We're seeing AI in finance, transportation, even entertainment. It's everywhere.
Okay, this is blowing my mind. But you know what? I'm kind of curious about how we even got here. Like, when did people start thinking about this whole AI thing?
You know, it's really interesting. The idea of machines that can think goes way back. But AI, as a field of study, really got going in the mid-20th century. There's this guy, Alan Turing, you've probably heard of him.
Yeah, vaguely.
Well, he came up with this test, the Turing test, to see if a machine could carry on a conversation so well that you couldn't tell it wasn't human. It was like the ultimate test of AI.
Wow, that's super cool. So, like, if I was chatting with a computer and thought it was a real person, then boom, it passes the test.
Exactly. And that test is still relevant today, especially with those chatbots popping up everywhere.
Right. Like those customer service bots. Sometimes I can't even tell if I'm talking to a human or a bot. But okay, so Turing, he was like a pioneer in this field.
He was a visionary. And then in 1956, there was this big conference at Dartmouth College where the term artificial intelligence
Mhm.
was officially coined. It was like the birth of AI as a formal field of study.
So we're talking like over 70 years ago.
Yeah. And there have been lots of ups and downs along the way. There were periods called AI winters where funding dried up and progress was slow, but it always seems to bounce back stronger than ever.
Well, that's encouraging. So when is the last big AI bounce back?
I'd say the past decade or so has been huge for AI. I mean, think about when that Deep Blue computer beat chess champion Garry Kasparov back in '97. That was a major turning point.
That's right. I remember that. It was like this big deal, a machine beating a human at a game that requires like strategy and stuff.
Exactly. It captured the world's imagination, and from there, things really started to accelerate.
Okay, so what changed? Why this sudden surge in AI progress?
A few things came together. First, we got much better at developing algorithms, the instructions that tell computers what to do.
Okay, makes sense.
And second, we now have these incredibly powerful computers that can crunch massive amounts of data.
Right, because data is like the fuel for AI, right?
It is. It's how AI learns and gets better at what it does, and we're creating more data than ever before.
Okay, so more data plus better algorithms equals this AI boom we're seeing now. But honestly, it still feels kind of mysterious to me. Like, how does it actually work? This article mentions something called deep learning a lot.
Deep learning is a big one. It's basically how we teach AI to learn from all that data. Imagine showing a computer program millions of pictures of cats.
Millions.
Millions. Eventually, it starts to pick up on the patterns, the features that make a cat, and then it can recognize a cat in any picture, even if it's never seen that particular cat before.
Oh, wow. So it's like teaching a kid by showing them tons of examples.
Exactly. But instead of a kid, it's a computer program, and it can process information way faster than any human could.
That's incredible. So this deep learning thing is behind like all these breakthroughs we're seeing.
It's a big part of it. And it's having a massive impact on tons of industries.
Right.
We already talked about healthcare, but think about finance. AI is used to personalize your investment recommendations, detect fraud, and even manage risk.
Wow. So it's like having a personal financial advisor, but it's a computer program.
Exactly. And it can do it for millions of people at the same time.
Okay, that's pretty powerful. What about other areas? Like this article talks about self-driving cars.
Ah, yes. That's another great example of AI in action. Those cars use AI to navigate, make decisions, and even learn from their experiences on the road.
So it's not just following programmed rules, it's actually learning and adapting as it goes.
That's right. It's pretty incredible what AI can do these days.
It really is. Okay, so we've covered what AI is, how it works, and some of the ways it's already changing our lives. But what about the future? This article hints at some pretty wild possibilities, like AI becoming more human, like understanding our emotions and having real conversations. Is that even possible?
It's definitely an area of active research.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI assistant that not only schedules your appointments, but also understands your mood and offers helpful suggestions. Or AI tutors that tailor their teaching style to your individual needs.
Okay, that would be amazing. But what about creativity? I've heard about AI writing music and poetry is going to replace artists.
That's a question a lot of people are asking,
Yeah.
and it's something we'll definitely dive into more later.
Okay, good. Because I have a lot of thoughts about that. But for now, I'm curious about this other kind of AI we talked about earlier, the super intelligent kind. That's where things get really interesting and maybe a little scary.
Yeah, that's where we step into the realm of what could be, and it raises a whole bunch of new questions.
Well, I'm ready to explore those questions. Let's dive in. Okay, so super intelligent AI. AI that's smarter than us. I have to admit, it's a little intimidating to even think about.
It is a big concept, right?
Yeah.
And it leads to some pretty profound questions about, well, the future of humanity, really.
Right. Like, if AI becomes super intelligent, what happens to us? Do we become obsolete?
That's one of the big questions, isn't it? I mean, in your notes, you mentioned this idea of AI outcompeting humans. Like, what happens when AI can do everything we can do, but better and faster?
Yeah, and not just jobs. I mean, everything. What happens to human creativity, problem solving, even, I don't know, our sense of purpose? It's like existential stuff.
It is, and it's something that philosophers and scientists are really grappling with. There's no easy answer.
I guess not. But in that Getting Started with AI article, they talk about how AI could help us solve some of the world's biggest problems, like climate change. A super intelligent AI could analyze all that data and come up with solutions we haven't even thought of.
Absolutely. That's the potential upside, right?
Yeah.
AI could be this incredible tool for good, helping us tackle these massive challenges.
Right. But then there's that other side, that fear that AI could become uncontrollable, that it could turn against us, like in those sci-fi movies.
I understand that concern. I mean, it's natural to have some apprehension about something that's potentially so powerful.
So how do we prevent that? How do we make sure AI is used for good and not for, well, bad?
Well, some experts believe that we can contain AI, keep it under tight control. They argue that we can program AI with specific ethical guidelines and safety protocols to ensure it doesn't stray from its intended purpose.
Okay, so it's like building in safeguards. But what if it's just too smart? What if it finds a way to bypass those safeguards?
That's the fear, isn't it? And it's why some people advocate for a more cautious approach to AI development, maybe even slowing things down a bit.
So we're talking about like global regulations, ethical guidelines, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to think about this not just on a national level, but on an international level, because AI doesn't recognize borders.
Right. It's a global issue. But honestly, it all feels a little overwhelming. Like, where do we even begin?
I hear you. It's a big challenge. But I think the first step is to keep talking about it, to keep these conversations going. We need to bring together experts from different fields, scientists, ethicists, policymakers, to figure out how to navigate this new territory responsibly.
So it's about collaboration, about bringing different perspectives to the table.
Exactly. Because this isn't just a technological challenge. It's a social, ethical, and even philosophical challenge. It's about figuring out what it means to be human in a world where AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated.
Deep stuff. But I have to admit, all this talk about super intelligent AI, it's kind of abstract. Maybe we should bring things back down to earth for a bit and talk about how AI is already impacting our daily lives, like right now. based on what we're reading in this article and your notes.
That's a great idea. Because while it's important to think about the long-term implications of AI, it's also important to understand how it's already shaping our world today.
So let's get practical. What does everyday life with AI actually look like?
Well, imagine waking up in the morning and your AI-powered alarm clock has already figured out the best time to wake you up based on your sleep patterns and your schedule for the day.
Okay, that would be nice. My mornings are usually a bit more chaotic, but okay, I'm with you. What's next?
So you get up and your AI assistant, maybe it's on your phone or a smart speaker, gives you a personalized rundown of your day. It tells you the best route to work based on traffic, reminds you about your appointments, and even plays your favorite podcast while you're getting ready.
So it's like having a personal assistant, but it's AI. I like it.
And that's just the beginning. Think about all those little things that AI is already doing for us. It's recommending products you might like, filtering out spam emails, even helping you find your way around with GPS navigation.
It's true. I use those things all the time. But what about work? How is AI changing the way we do our jobs?
In a lot of ways, AI can automate tasks, analyze data, provide insights, and even help us communicate more effectively. Think of it as a tool that can amplify our capabilities and make us more efficient.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not necessarily about AI replacing jobs. It's about AI changing the nature of work.
Exactly. Some jobs will inevitably become automated, but new jobs will also emerge. And for many people, AI will simply become part of their toolkit, helping them do their jobs better and faster.
This is all pretty exciting, but I have to admit, there's a part of me that's still a little wary. I mean, earlier we were talking about privacy concerns. With AI knowing so much about our lives, how do we ensure that our data is protected?
That's a crucial question. As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, we need to be more vigilant than ever about protecting our privacy. We need strong regulations, ethical guidelines, and a commitment from companies to use our data responsibly.
So it's about finding that balance, right? Between reaping the benefits of AI and safeguarding our privacy and autonomy.
Absolutely. And that leads us to an even bigger question. What does it truly mean to live in a world where AI is so deeply intertwined with our lives? How do we navigate this new reality in a way that benefits humanity while also protecting our values and our freedoms? That's something we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Wow, we've really gone deep on this AI journey, haven't we? From the basics to like super intelligence.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. I mean, AI is just this massive topic with so many different angles. And honestly, I think we've only just scratched the surface.
No kidding. But even just scratching the surface, it's clear that this AI stuff is a big deal. It's going to have a huge impact on, well, pretty much everything.
Absolutely. And, it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we as humans choose to interact with it and shape its development.
That's what really struck me during this deep dive. It's not just about AI happening to us. It's about us making conscious choices about how we want to live with AI.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership, being proactive.
Right, because otherwise we're just kind of, I don't know, sitting back and letting things unfold without any say in the matter.
Right. And I don't think anyone wants that. I mean, remember what we talked about earlier, like the potential for AI to be this incredible force for good, helping us solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Yeah, like climate change, poverty, even curing diseases.
Exactly. But to get there, we need to be intentional about how we develop and use AI. We need to make sure it aligns with our values, that it's used ethically, and that it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Okay, so that's the goal. AI as a force for good. But how do we actually make that happen? I mean, it all seems so complex.
It is complex, but I don't think it's impossible. And honestly, I think this is where that Getting Started with AI article really hits the nail on the head. It emphasizes that this isn't just about technology, it's about people.
Oh, you mean like the people developing AI, the people using it, and, well, all of us who are going to be living in a world increasingly shaped by AI?
Exactly. It's about collaboration, open dialogue, and, most importantly, having a seat at the table when decisions are being made about the future of AI.
I like that, a seat at the table. So what does that look like in practice? I mean, where do we even start?
Well, I think it starts with staying informed, learning about AI, its capabilities, its limitations, and, yes, its potential risks. There are tons of resources out there, books, articles, podcasts, even just having conversations like this one.
Right, the more we talk about it, the more we understand it, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions, to challenge assumptions, to demand transparency from the companies and governments developing and using AI.
So it's about being engaged, being vocal, being proactive, not just sitting back and hoping for the best.
Exactly. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's a story that's still being written, and we all have a role to play in shaping the narrative.
Wow, this has been an amazing deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about AI, not just the technical stuff, but the bigger picture, the human side of it.
I'm glad to hear that. It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
Likewise. And you know what? I'm feeling a lot more optimistic about the future of AI now. It's not just about robots taking over, it's about us, humans, using this powerful technology to create a better world.
I couldn't agree more. And remember, the future is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create together.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this AI adventure. We hope you've enjoyed it and learned something along the way. And keep those conversations going. The future of AI depends on it.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shaping the future you want to see.